Give all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahshua Bashem Rakadish. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS groups and ones that like teach 100% truth. Shalom, Barak for their edification and knowledge. And foremost, give all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahshua Bashem Rakadish. A nice lesson relating to the kings of Israel and Judah, relating to this map. I'm going to read Judah real quick. The nation of Judah occupied in the hill country west of the Dead Sea. When the 10 northern tribes of Israel broke away, following the death of King Solomon, only the tribes of Judah and Benjamin were left to form the southern kingdom, and it was also called Judah, the tribe of Judah, which is down here, or Yahweh in Hebrew. Israel, which is in the middle. A nation made up of 12 tribes. Remember, the nation of Israel is a people before it's a place. First. Read it again. The nation made up of the 12 tribes descended from Jacob. Section 6, 12 tribes, northern kingdom. After the northern kingdom broke away, following the death of King Solomon, 1 Kings 12, 1 through 20. There's Israel there. It relates to the whole 12 tribes. Now they were broken off. The northern tribe, they were broken off, and they had to go into the Assyrian captivity. The southern tribe, the Babylonian captivity. So they were divided. The Edomites, which are down here. Forgive me of that shadow, if you know what I mean, of the relating to the camera. Edom's down there, which would be southeast of the Dead Sea. Edomites, Edom, Esau, a nation living in Edom or Mount Seir. Another name for him in Greek is Idumea. Mount Seir is a capital area south and southeast of the Dead Sea, according to Genesis 36, 1 through 43. Now the whole book of Genesis 36 chapter talks about the descendants of Esau, Edom. For example, the Amalekites. Genesis 36 and 12. Eliaphaz is the eldest son of Esau, Edom. He bore him and a concubine, which is a lesser wife, named Timnah, bore a son named Amalek. And through Amalek, you have the descendants of the Amalekites, which are the main arch enemy and the facilitators related to financing, pretty much the slave trade, which I'll go over a little bit. They were the financiers relating to a lot of things. So the genealogy of Esau, Edom, they descended from Esau, Jacob's brother, Jacob's older brother, his wicked brother. Let's go to Moab. Moab and Ammon next. They're descendants from Lot. A nation that lived east of the Dead Sea, according to Genesis 19:30 and 38. And the people or a nation of Moab descended from Lot, the nephew of Abraham. Ammon, a nation that lived east of Israel, according to Genesis 19:30 to 38. People or nation of Ammon descended from Lot, nephew of Abraham. Now those two nations, the wicked daughters of Lot, caused Noah to have sex with him. So incest, and this is how you have these nations. Moab or Moabites would be modern day Chinese. Ammon or Ammonites would be Japanese today. Now you have those nations were created through incest, which is abomination. Bashan, the flat highlands and wooded hills of southern Syria. Bashan, just north of the region of Galilee, and was known for its fat cattle, a lot, and fine grains. So that area there was known for its up there for its fine cattle and grains. Galilee, which is here, right here, Galilee, should be south of it. The region that's east of the Jordan River, Moab lay south of it, south, and Galilee and Bashan was up to the north. Okay. The Philistines, we'll talk about the Philistines next. Over here, Philistia. The territory along the Mediterranean coast controlled by the Philistine people called Philistia. And they were old arch enemies of the nation of Israel as well. There were 5 main cities with its own rulers in those cities: Ashdod, Ashkelon, Ekron, Gath, Gaza. Ashdod is a port city that's in the capital near the capital Tel Aviv, which is Israel. The Philistines were often at war with Israel, an old enemy of Israel. And Amalek, going back to Amalek, what I forgot, Amalek was the main arch enemy, and they will be even at war until right now, currently. The Phoenicia, which is up here, the territory along the Mediterranean Sea controlled by the cities of Tyre, Sidon, Arvad, Bioplos, coast of the modern, today would be modern Lebanon, that covers that same area, modern Lebanon. Deuteronomy 2:23, Jeremiah 47:4. During the 12th century BC, they came during a time when the cities and civilization in the Middle East and Greece were collapsing. LiveScience.com, that article. The Canaanites, we're going to talk about them. They were cursed. Descendants of Canaanites, the Canaanites were cursed because Ham looked upon his father's nakedness. So his father cursed, which is his youngest son, Ham, his descendants, which would be the Canaanites. They were cursed. The Canaanites, they are part of the descendants of Ham. Now this relates to, this is the map here, going with that. I'm going to read a little bit here. Zondervan's Compact Dictionary. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, probably 96 years before the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, not the Israelites. But the dark race relates to the Ethiopians, the Egyptians, Libyans, and the Canaanites, which are the cursed, ones that's cursed. They look similar, the same as the Israelites, but they have different custom and traditions, and they worship different things. The nation of Israel, a more regal group, nation of people. That's the difference. They have their own custom and traditions. Even when they came there, they orchestrated with the Arabs were the trappers in the Esau Edom, which was the financier, which purchased the slave ships, which they would travel to and fro, related to the slave trade right here. So all these 3 entities colluded together to ultimately trap the nation of Israel and put them in captivity, related to Deuteronomy 28. So they will be put in captivity. And be pretty much spread out all 4 corners of the earth, man. And Joel 3 talks about all these nations, they're going to be scattered among nations and part of my land. You know what I mean? That relates to Joel 3 and 2. In 70 AD, they would scatter and go to the west of Africa, where they would be in those areas. When the other nations would be, there would be in collusion with them, ultimately to trap the nation of Israel and put them in bondage and slavery, man. And like I said, the financiers are the ones who bought these ships, ultimately to where they would be pretty much transported all over the world, man. Now, during the period of Pompey to Julius, it had been estimated over 100,000 fled to Africa, fleeing from the Roman persecution and slavery. the slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves, which are Israelites. Now, relating to Revelations 2 and 9, I know your works and thy tribulations, poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but the synagogues of Satan. That's the ones who pretty much over in a certain land pretending to be as pretenders in that certain land to be a certain nation of people. And that's what that is. Now I said something in Joel 3. I will also gather all the nations and will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. That relates to the end times pretty much, that all the nations will be gathered together, and they will rise up pretty much against the Lord. And I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among nations and imparted my land. So they're going to be scattered upon all these other nations, and they part their land, which is where they come from. You know what I mean? So the point is, all these nations were confederate in some way to the ultimate and continuous demise of the nation of Israel. And this was just relating to the map part. And so there's some pictures here. What they had to go through. That was slavery. Here's the ships right here. They were financed by a certain nation, the J class. They were the financiers. They were the buyers, and the trappers and the indigenous people were the sellers, pretty much. The trappers and the sellers selling it to the buyers so they can purchase them. And that's what that is. All right. That being said, this was something short. I hope it helped someone in some way. Give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahshua, Ba'Shem Rakadish. Salutation to the elders and apostles, GMS groups, and ones alike. Teach 100% truth. Shalom, Barakathum to them for their edification and knowledge. Give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahshua, Ba'Shem Rakadish. Also, another thing here. That's relates to right there. That picture on the left relates to Ham. So they're different people, man. They're different custom, tradition, everything. Different people. That being said, Thawada, Shalom, thanks.